Welcome back, I'm Melissa Muir. In this video, we are going to finish up our Cabochon Prong settings with Halstead Bead. Now in this particular one, I have 4 different settings, 3mm, 4mm, 6, and 8mm. For this one, I'm using a mounting plate from GRS that works with my GRS Benchmate. And I have a little bit of dopping wax or jeweler's shellac that I have put onto here. That needs to be warmed up so that I can place the settings into this shellac. One of the things that's going to happen is as I place these settings into place, that shellac is going to move its way into the back of this setting. That can impede some of my setting. So that's something that we'll have to look at. Now that will be the case if you're using any of this kind of thermal fixturing compound. So I'm just going to verify everything is where I want it. Now I wait for it to cool, test my fittings, make sure everything is nice and hard. Now we're ready to set our stone. So the first one I'm trying to get into here is one of those lentil faceted stones. However, because that shellac moved into the back of the setting, it's not allowing me to do it. So I'm going to warm this up and I'm just going to gently pull my setting up a little bit so that the shellac is no longer pushing up inside of that. By doing this, I'm going to allow that convex side of the stone to nestle down into the setting, which is what we need and is very important for that stone to sit properly. Now that it's cooled, I'm going to put the stone back in and adjust it, get it into position, and now we are ready to start setting. This time I'm going to use a pair of flat nose pliers, and once more I'm only going to adjust the prongs a little bit at a time, and I want to work on opposite sides. So what I do is I place the pliers at the base of one prong and then work it and hold it there and pull on the other prong to lay that prong over. Once I have that done, I'll go back in with my pusher and continue to push those prongs down so that they are nice and flush on the top of the stone. When we're working with a flat-backed cab, our setting process is pretty much the same. Again, I'm going to place the nose of my pliers on the back side of a prong as I work the opposite one to pull it over. Once I have that, I move again to my bezel pusher to finish that setting position. Now, if the stone continues to move, it means that your prongs are not quite set yet. You want to make sure that it's nice and secure. On this smaller stone, I'm going to just jump right in with a bezel pusher rather than working with the pliers. Now, you can do either one and it'll be just fine. This final one is really small. He's very small. This is only about a 3mm stone. So I need to work on first getting the prongs close enough to the stone to hold it into the center position of my setting. Once that is done, then I can start to work on bringing those prongs over the stone and onto the top. Once the stone has been set, you want to just verify that all of the prongs are pushed over completely. You don't want any kind of air gaps on these. The prong should be touching the stone the entire way of that prong, and that is what is going to really support these stones. Now we have to pull these off. Remember, our shellac is totally hard, and sometimes we have some stones that might be a little bit sensitive to heat, and if that's the case, you want to be very cautious here. I am using a heat gun just to warm up the shellac a little bit. Now, the shellac is going to cool and harden quite quickly, so I might have to bring that in every now and then. Another thing that I do is I point the heat not on the stone itself, but at the shellac around it, and I also do it from the underside. Now, the shellac is quite hard, but it's also very brittle, so you can chip this off. However, it is quite time-consuming and tedious. I find if my stone can handle it, if I put it into a little bit of acetone and just let it soak for a little, then that shellac will come right off. So I'll put this in, agitate it a little bit, and now we're done with all 4 settings. In addition to sterling silver, these settings are also available in 14 karat gold. As always, if you have any questions, be sure you throw those down into the comment section down below. And if you like our videos, be sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, or make sure you ring that bell, and we will see you guys in the next video. you.